Welcome to the BOJPOD. My name is Bradley.
I'm Ollie.
And I'm Jack.
And we are the BOJPOD. Or cast. We still haven't really decided.
No.
I think we've established it's the BOJPOD.
But are we the BOJcast?
We can be to some people if
We are the
fans would like to call it that.
Are we the podcast of the BODpod? BODpod.
BOJPOD. BOJPOD, yes.
All I know is that we are a podcast.
Like the Yogg's cast of the Yogg Pod.
Like so many
God.
others. Right, we have so many topics to discuss.
Yes.
That
Jack, would you
recently
like to
came
start
this
us
week.
off with our first topic?
Starting with some news that actually came out today. Ollie won't give a shit. Bradley might care a little bit.
Kinda.
I don't watch Top Gun.
Jeremy Clarkson, his contract with the BBC is not being renewed next month once it expires.
Oh no, where will BBC get their 30 million a year from now? Because the other two have said that they won't do it without him.
Yeah.
So,
James May, outside of his house, kind of said pretty much he wouldn't really want to work with anyone else, even though he didn't really say that. Yeah.
Don't most of the popularity that the BBC get is from Top Gear.
Yeah.
The vast majority of it.
It's the number one most popular TV show in the world.
Unless you
Apart
count the
from-
one show. I'm joking.
unless you count Doctor Who.
Doctor
Well,
Who.
no, in terms of ratings and things like that.
Well,
Top
yeah,
Gear-
worldwide, yeah, Top Gear.
In the entire world, Top Gear is the most popular program on the planet.
And they're going to fire the lead on it, and
Well, he's
they're
already
gonna,
been fired.
I suppose the BBC don't make
His-
anything in
his-
syndication, though, do they?
His contract is legally still open at the moment. He's still employed by the BBC technically, but he's pretty much just dropped now. He's been fired.
Sucks, man.
Yeah.
I think he was at the forefront of that show, and
Oh,
yeah,
he was the show.
yeah.
Yeah. He drove, pun intended, he drove it.
This reminds me of when Charlie Sheen left Two and a Half Men. I think without
Yeah.
him, it wouldn't be Two and a Half Men. It would just be
Well, for about,
Ashton Kutcher, one
And the
guy,
Rebels.
and one that's already not even half anymore. He's old, sort of, yeah. It just failed, and the show ended recently.
yeah,
Yeah,
it did, with a lackluster ending.
And
I re-
yeah, it was a really terrible ending because Charlie Sheen wasn't in it.
No.
No, he
In the last
can't be in
episode.
it. It'd be funny if he was.
It would be. It'd be quite
Yeah.
a funny return.
Yeah, the character got killed off, didn't he?
Yeah, at the start of the new season, he married the stalker, and then
He was actually a woman.
I think they redeemed it. They said I heard from the last episode, and I didn't watch it obviously, but they said that he was actually kept in Rosa's basement,
Oh.
and he wasn't in fact dead.
Fair enough.
Just for the fans. The
Someone
old
who
school
is
fans.
actually unfortunately dead though. Little Chris. I'm not sure exactly the details, but he was 24 and he was reported dead. And a while ago he was reported saying that he wanted to fight some sort of depression, or
Yeah.
he wanted to bring to light getting over depression and things like that. And hopefully that wasn't what drove him to either kill himself, or if it was a death that was completely unrelated to his psychological well-being, or I don't know.
A lot of people suffer from depression.
to those of us who cannot remember or have forgotten all about Little Chris, myself, who was Little Chris? Lil Chris.
He was a teen heartthrob pop star from Britain.
Yeah.
Had a couple of singles that were in the charts, I suppose. He
Yeah.
wasn't incredibly famous.
It was just because of his age.
Yeah.
And he was sort of the first teenage pop star, and then everyone else kind of followed suit afterwards, and now we've got so many of them that we just want to strangle them in their sleep.
In teenage gospel news, talking of Little Chris, who was that? one of the members of one of the members of One Direction have left One Direction.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
He's left in pursuit of being a DJ.
Good.
Ooh.
I can't remember which one it was.
One
and
down,
be honest,
4 to
I
go.
don't care. Next subject.
Next subject.
Moving
Here-
swiftly on from shitty pop news.
An image of Lex Luthor has been released.
There's actually not much to say about the photo other than Jesse Eisenberg looks quite menacing and
He
he's
looks-
bold.
He looks like if I got a nose job and shaved my head.
No, you're not far off. I think you do look somewhat like him.
I've got,
Kind of.
if I got a few similarities, I think it's my cheekbones.
People actually mistake him for Michael Cera.
So,
Michael Cera,
Yeah,
the guy from
like myself.
Superbad.
yeah, I do that. I've done that before.
Scott Pilgrim? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the day those two do a movie together. They like this. They play the same character, and
Yeah.
I think if they just did that and they did like a buddy cop duo movie together, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just constant awkwardness and fast talking.
Yeah. It's complete. And
Oh, no.
that's shit that gets, like, amazing reviews.
Mm.
One of my favourite Jesse Eisenberg films has got to be 30 Minutes or Less.
I've seen that. That's
Oh,
very
yeah.
underrated.
I haven't seen it.
I think he gets
Basically,
tricked.
Jesse Eisenberg is a pizza delivery boy that hates his life,
Well, yeah.
and then he delivers a pizza to people, and then gets a bomb strapped to him.
They strap a bomb to him, yeah. Well, that's the
Yeah.
basic premise, but I haven't seen the movie.
Yes, he's got to do it in under, I think it's 30 hours.
Aziz Ansari, isn't it? The Indian comedian, American Indian.
Yeah.
He's quite funny,
Yeah.
and he himself is quite underrated.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Talking
but
about
the
that.
image, yeah, I mean, I was quite skeptical about him being casted because Lex Luthor is quite
Who's
a stern,
yeah.
charismatic-looking middle-aged man, but
Who would you think would play that role perfectly? And I think all three of us will say the same person.
Everyone thinks it's Heisenberg.
No. Who do you think would play the best Lex Luthor?
I think Joaquin Phoenix would be a good Lex Luthor.
Oh, I was going along the lines of... Shit, I've forgotten his name now.
Oh, yeah, him.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. No,
Joaquin
not
Phoenix.
him. The
He's
guy
agreeing with
from
me.
American Beauty. The guy from Usual Suspects.
He's just-
Kevin Spacey, that's it.
He already
Kevin
played
Spacey.
Lex Luthor in that shitty Superman Returns movie.
And how was he as Lex Luthor?
He was alright. I think the movie just dragged it down, and I don't
Are
know.
you sure you're not...
He did alright. He did
Are you
alright.
sure you're not mixing him up with... And
No, he played him in Superman Returns.
I still think he would play the best one.
Talking about Batman v Superman. It's funny that they're casting Ben Affleck, who's sort of reaching middle age now as Batman, and he's sort of an older, maturer Batman, and Jesse Eisenberg, being a much younger actor, is playing Lex Luthor. So they're definitely switching the roles there.
Yeah.
Batman, an older character, and bringing Lex Luthor down to a younger character.
I could say a thing or two about that.
Yeah.
With the film, being based off a lot of comics,
Yeah.
trying to get the best versions of the characters. So, the Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor is from, I believe it's Superman Birthright, and that's where Lex Luthor's he's like a scrawny little nerd. But he's super intelligent. It all focuses on how, intelligent and
So it's
cunning he is.
basically going to be Jesse Eisenberg
And-
from the Social Network.
Yeah, but then with the old Batman, they're taking inspiration from The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman is retired from being Batman. So
Yeah.
he basically had a 10-year absence and then came back to being the Batman.
Yeah, I heard that
So, yeah.
the guy who played him before, whose name escapes me,
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. When he heard that Ben Affleck was actually playing the Batman, he got a little bit jealous at first, and I think he tried to like send him a few tips about actually being Batman. And
do not use my voice. Whatever you do,
yeah,
do not sound like
Do
you
not.
have throat cancer. For
don't
goodness'
use
sake.
that gravelly voice.
Don't
I'm
do-
wearing hockey pants. Swear to me.
Swear to me.
Anyway,
I swear to God, swear to me.
Does anyone want to comment on the Dark Knight trilogy at all?
It was
I
a good-
really
And
enjoyed
all
it.
its greatness?
I enjoyed them because they open up a very good point. Unlike any of the other Batman films, all the other Batman films, it's been Batman is Bruce Wayne, whereas in this series, Batman could be anyone, which is what they tried to simulate in The Dark Knight, where there's lots of Batman copycats.
Oh yeah.
I quite enjoyed it because Liam Neeson.
He was
Yeah.
a great Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Disappointed that they only called him Ra's al Ghul, even though it's actually pronounced Ra's al Ghul. But that's a tiny nitpick. Tiny nitpick. What about Heath Ledger as the Joker?
Audience, Oliver's a massive.
He's a massive. He is
Hipster.
a massive.
He is a massive hipster. I forgot the word.
Ollie, you are a massive.
Hipster.
Okay. I could go with that. I'm cool with that.
Anyway,
Of course you're cool with that, you're a fucking hipster.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a hipster.
staying on the subject of superhero movies, you mentioned something earlier about X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
So, with going from the Days of Future Past film, which is set in the 60s, this one will be based in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's
And-
the alternate.
They
Right.
are. So they
Oh.
got the they're going for a younger cast of X-Men.
Yeah.
So they've they casted the likes of that kid from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes that drew a lot. Who else? Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones is playing Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Oh yes, but I like that one scene in Game of Thrones where that one character that you just said did some crazy stuff.
No, she has not had
That
one
one
single
girl,
sex scene.
that one girl, she said some amazing dialogue. Such a funny person. Ha ha ha.
You've never seen it, have you?
I've seen up to episode 3.
You've seen bits and pieces.
I've seen it up to episode 3.
Do you know which one's Sansa Stark? Can you describe her?
She's got boobies.
No. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
She's a bit young.
Could you talk more about a character?
What colour is her hair?
Yeah, what colour is her hair? Is a prominent
the same
thing.
as pretty much everyone's. A nice browny colour.
She's pretty much the only person with that colour hair.
A lovely
Except
white.
that-
No,
I can't think of anyone else who actually has that colour hair.
Yeah. What about the red? You know the guy, the woman that's working for. What's his
Yeah,
name?
but she's got like red hair,
She has. Yeah, they both have red hair.
like dyed red hair. Sansa's just got like ginger.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any other gingers in the whole series. So Bradley.
Oh, what about Ygritte? You know nothing, Jon Snow.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You know.
true.
Except my ginger minge.
Ugh.
In that cave, you know, I'm Jon Snow, and I've been smoking my entire life. Anyway,
I got the same face.
actually, talking about Jon Snow, he was in a movie that isn't technically out yet, and I may have watched before it's actually been released. In The Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. If you've seen the trailer for that movie, Seventh Son. He's in it for the first 10 minutes, and he's quite cool, and he gets his face smashed in, and then he gets burned.
Oh, so he does die. Does he just...
Oh yeah, he dies in spoiler alert, he dies after about 10 minutes into the movie.
So does he exclusively play characters that die?
Jon Snow didn't die
Yeah.
in this series. Yeah, that we
He
know
probably
of.
will. He probably will.
Well, everyone probably will, but
Yeah.
no, Jon Snow hasn't died.
It's all hanging in the balance for
And
every
the actor
character.
doesn't have the reputation that Sean Bean does, his character dies in the first series.
He was casted to die.
Oh, I know that. Don't ruin any of it for me. So all I
Yeah.
know is dragons are coming. And there's big floppy wieners everywhere.
There's
Wiener,
only- there's
wiener,
only-
wiener, 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 wiener.
Fuck your sister in a tower. Don't get caught now.
There's only
Send her over next to the seaside.
there's only 2 appearances of a wiener in the entire series, or like 3 at
Hold on.
best. Hodor's I can't wait to see.
Have you not seen?
Can't wait to see his wiener.
Ye-
Anyway,
His wiener's already been in it.
has it?
Yeah.
What near Bran? 'Cause
Yeah,
I would be
Bran.
worried for him.
Bran's talking to the wildling lady, and Hodor just runs over naked, and he's like, "Hold on," just like a massive cock. And she's like, "Oh, you've got a bit of giant in you." And then he just wanders off with his massive 12-inch penis flopping around.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Screaming Hodor.
Yeah,
Anyway, on to our next subject. If Oliver would kindly oblige in saying what it is, as I'm away from the computer at the moment.
Oh, what is the next topic? I'll have a peep around. I'll just go for a really random one.
Just like that one scene in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Jack, this is where you enter your subject.
Keeping on the subject of movies, there've been quite a few trailers out, and I've only just seen the Pixels trailer, where basically half the cast of grown-ups are fighting against video games.
Or the full cast of Chuck and Larry Get Married, or whatever that film is.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, it is Adam Sandler
So-
and Kevin James's best work, and I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Well, have you never seen Adam Sandler's other films that people would say were his best films, such as Big Daddy?
Excluding 50 First Dates,
That was a great movie.
Big Daddy, and Happy Gilmore, Adam Sandler
Boy.
is he still hasn't found his edge. I think recently he did like a drama film of some sort,
Mm.
so he could sort of explore with different genres, and because obviously comedy was not working out for him.
Not recently, it hasn't.
Jack and Jill,
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen
I've seen
clips.
it. I've seen it. It's okay. Spoiler alert coming up. Do you want me to spoil a little?
3,
thing?
2, 1, spoil. Not
Right.
that anyone cares.
Adam Sandler cross-dresses to play his sister. There is a scene where he then cross-dresses to pretend to be his sister. So he's cross-dressing to pretend as being his sister.
That
Cool.
trend was over when Eddie Murphy did Professor Nutty, or Nutty Professor.
Actually, it was over after Robert Downey Jr. It was a black guy pretending to be a white guy pretending to be a black guy.
Oh yeah, but that was all him. That was his split personality. He had
Yeah,
split
and
personalities.
this Adam Sandler thing is all him. But
Can you imagine that? Like
I'm a dude pretending to be a dude who's dressed like another dude.
that the Nutty Professor was just Eddie Murphy having this crazy trip out session, and he was like on this dining table next to all these other Eddie Murphys.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
then there's see the parody of that in Tropic Thunder with Jack Black, where he pretends to be a whole family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that I just remembered that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's all just them sat at a dinner table fighting.
Fine. Luckily,
God,
it was a
that was
fictional
horrible.
movie. It wasn't an actual movie.
Talking about horrible things, we got something down here. What your favourite horror film?
Yeah, that was my topic. Do you have a favourite horror film?
Do I have a favourite horror film?
It's oddly specific.
I haven't seen a great amount of horror films in my time. I haven't really seen any of the classics that you would say are like proper horror films. I've never seen The Exorcist.
No, me neither.
The-
Me neither.
In recent memory, I saw the horror movie from the guy from Insidious, but it was about a haunting that was apparently real, and it wasn't.
Sinister.
Was it? I think it was Annabelle.
Oh no, I heard that was god awful.
Was it Annabelle or was it a different one? I think Annabelle
Oliver.
was in it. Right at the end.
Oliver, what's your favourite? No, Jack, you still haven't said yours.
I don't know. Quite liked Insidious, I suppose. It got a bit crap towards the end. Well, from about halfway through, it got a bit shit. I liked, what would you call Alien a horror movie?
I was going to
Whereas-
say that. Would you count Aliens a horror film?
No, I don't know.
Yes.
Is it sci-fi or horror, or is it a mixture of both?
It's a hybrid film, so it has elements of horror and sci-fi. Yeah, I think that's one of the best tension-building films of all time.
Yeah, the game Alien Isolation quite recreated that quite well. I haven't actually played it yet. But you can actually, if you get the Nostromo edition, you can actually play as Ellen Ripley and the rest of the crew from the original movie in a special sort of side campaign, which is really cool.
That'd be funny, just an hour of walking around and at the very last 10 minutes you actually see the alien.
Yeah, and it's in an airlock and you just push it out.
Oh yeah, no, you're playing the guy that has the fin inside him, the chest burster scene.
I don't know
and
if
you
you
press X to sort of stop it from trying to rip through you.
Yeah, and then once he's dead, you press X to mourn.
Wasn't one of them a robot? Played by Bilbo Baggins?
Yeah.
The old one?
Now that he has a really simple name that I'm really annoyed that I can't remember.
Didn't he,
It's on the tip of my tongue.
I think he played a villain in that film. I think
He wasn't at first, but then he kind of malfunctions and then tries to kill Ripley.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
And
Bishop. They just end him, don't they?
Is it Bishop?
Bishop here.
No.
No, wait.
Bishop
He plays
the good one from the second one.
Yes, he plays
I'm thinking
Mr.
of Ash.
Wayland.
It's Ash.
He plays.
This one.
Yeah. He
Yeah, the
plays
guy-
an android that looks like Mr. Roland. No, Mr. Wayland.
Yeah, he's from the second one onwards. But no, in the first one it was Ash, and he was played by the guy who played Bilbo Baggins. Obviously, that was before Bilbo Baggins, but still.
Yeah, I'd count that as a horror film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oliver, what's
Yeah.
your favourite horror film?
Well, I think Jack stole my idea and stole my
What with Alien?
that was my film.
Okay. My
There just
favourite
aren't any good horror films recently.
horror film, because I knew nothing about it but watched it, was the first Scream. It did something that I've never seen done in any horror film before. I don't want to spoil anything, because unless you haven't watched it, you should definitely watch it without watching anything about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Have you
a
never
horror
watched
movie.
it, guys?
It's hard to ignore.
It's not a scary horror movie though.
It's hard to ignore when there's films like Scary Movie and
Yeah,
movies that parody those
if you
sort of
would
films.
consider that a horror movie, then my favourite horror movie would be Freddy vs. Jason. Then.
I think Friday the 13th was a good film.
Yeah,
Because I actually felt, at the time, very emotionally attached to Jason as a character when he was a kid.
Sorry, I got a text message.
You
Yeah.
are forgiven. I felt sorry for him, poor guy.
The reason I like Scream is I've watched a couple of horror films and I've never seen what they did. They make fun of horror films and they set out rules that they then, because it is a horror film, they then try to contradict it, and they do break their own rules that they've made up. It's very, very funny. And I do.
Yeah.
It's like every generation has had their big spoiler. For example, spoiler alert: Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Oh my god, why would you do that?
And
Dickhead.
I've forgotten.
This is actually dead. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was just about to say that. Ah.
Is he Anakin, by the way? Oh, I knew it. Fuck's sake.
Well, that really wasn't a spoiler, Oliver.
Was it Hayden Christensen? Oh,
Hayden
for
Christensen.
fuck's sake.
It was me, Austin. It was me all along.
I'd like to watch a film.
I don't like sand.
In the eyes
it's
of Oliver
coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
Gets on it.
That was actually
That's-
like just your normal voice is almost a good impression.
Coarse, rough, gets everywhere. Then a random kiss. Why? Because my name is George Lucas and I can do whatever the fuck I like.
But these motherfucking Sith in my motherfucking temple.
Do that Mace Windu's voice.
I've had it with these motherfucking Sith in my motherfucking temple.
'Cause I am the Mace Windu, motherfucker.
Kill him, Anakin! I dare you! I double
dare you.
Shock me, Palpatine. I dare you. I double dare you.
Pretty much, just he completely misquoted it and made it up. When he actually did that in the movie where he said that.
Yeah, that is not in the Bible, spoiler.
No, it's not.
I'd like to make a suggestion for all listeners. If you do have time to go on YouTube and, go about your business and watch videos, I suggest you watch the Samuel L. Jackson motherfucker compilation. So funny. Just every motherfucker from all his films.
Right.
You'll get a laugh out of it.
On to the next subject. Oliver, you were about to bring up favourite TV crossovers?
TV or movie, but there haven't been many movie crossovers.
Just before we mention that, a little bit of trivia. On the, I can't remember which show it was now, but it was a gay English, super campy English chat show. And Samuel Jackson was on there, and he actually asked to have a purple lightsaber to be different so he could spot himself. And he got it.
What
And
a
so
legend.
when he's actually in a massive fight scene and you just see loads of little lightsabers on the ground, you can recognise him.
He will forever be the innovator of the purple lightsaber. He'll be,
I don't know if that's true, but
There might have been people before him.
yeah.
I don't
Where
know.
if you follow the extended universe, which is now non-canon, there were others before, but in the film verse, yes. He originally had a blue lightsaber.
Yeah. If you remember, he doesn't actually pull his lightsaber out at all in the first one.
No.
And then in the second one, he gets his purple one. And apparently he specifically asked for one. He actually asks George Lucas for it at some point. Because he got invited back to do the second one because they hadn't killed him off. So he was like, I want a purple lightsaber. I want one. And he got it. And it was really cool.
That's so typical of so many actors when they get casted for a film
But when it's
that's
when
based
it's-
off like some sort of source material, and they're like, you know what, I want to change this, this, and this. And
When it's
Will.i.am
Samuel-
did that. Will.i.am did that in the X-Men Origins film, and he demanded that he would have Nightcrawler's powers.
Will.i.am?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
yeah. I'm thinking about all these actors that have just demanded.
I watched that movie and I can't remember him at all.
Yeah, he played the teleporter.
He's the
guy.
guy. He's the black guy. There you go.
He's the only black guy.
No, I can't remember.
Probably. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Anyway, on to favourite
Crossovers.
TV/film crossovers.
Alien Predator.
Alien vs Predator.
Yes, they did three movies, I think,
It's
Two.
my-
from
It's
recent
only
memories. So there's
Yeah.
the one where there's a team that goes out into the Arctic and they find that ancient pyramid thing,
Yeah, that was AVP.
With-
and they end up in the
I've-
games or whatever.
Do you know, actually, they were bringing out Alien vs Predator games before the movie. I remember playing Alien vs Predator 1 because it was free on Good Old Games, and I played through like the first 5 minutes, and I kind of.
So, and then there was the second film, which was concentrating more on the typical cliche horror flick where they have teenagers in danger, or
Yeah.
teenage virgins.
That kind of
I
stuff.
don't
I actually got the PSP game for that, and it sucked even worse.
As bad as the movie.
Yeah.
I actually liked the
Was it
second
Requiem?
one more. Yes.
Yeah, Requiem.
I preferred the second one over the first because the first one it's got good build up, and then the Spanish guy pretty much does all of the explaining.
Yeah, he does.
But he It makes no sense.
I do like the fight though. The fight from the first film.
I
Yes.
much prefer the first one.
I prefer the second one, as after watching the first Predator, the Predator is more Predator-like in the second film rather than the first. He's more of a hunter.
Well, that's because the 3 in the first one were there to train, to prove themselves as warriors, so they were inexperienced.
That's true.
So the reason 2 of them died and 1 of them did survive but kind of got beat up a few times was because they were actually unexperienced hunters who hadn't proven themselves yet.
They were young ones, weren't they?
Yeah, if you remember, he marks himself just before, spoiler, he gets impregnated by the facehugger.
Yes.
So that's kind of why. And I think if it was a more experienced Predator, he wouldn't have allied with the woman.
That's true.
Because I'm assuming he didn't really have experience with humans up to that point, really. Although they did kill a load of humans before. I don't know.
There are a lot of crossovers, guys.
Yes, name them.
Simpsons, Family Guy.
Oh, I was going to say that.
That's a good point.
Jason versus Freddy, that was already mentioned.
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of TV ones, as far as I'm aware,
Yeah.
but I've forgotten them. There was a whole list of them.
Did Family Guy and American Dad ever cross over at all?
Yes. Yes, they did. Family Guy, American Dad, and Cleveland Show. They all crossed over
Well, the Cleveland show
when
was a bit
Hurricane
off.
Katrina was going on.
Of course, it's got
Yeah.
a crossover.
They all had consecutive episodes, one after the other, that happened on the same day. They're all about Hurricane Katrina. And then it all boils down to the last, it was American Dad that was last, and all their houses are blown together, and they all meet each other, and it's all a bit...
How long have all those shows been going now?
Well, Family Guy's been going on
10 odd years. I think.
10-ish years.
Yeah. And it's already become much more successful than most long-running cartoon shows like The Simpsons.
Well,
The jokes are funny, but they're funny as in run into the ground funny.
Simpsons, I think people forget, is generally considered not funny, which people base most animated
It's a different
shows.
kind of comedy.
But it's not, it's entertainment.
It's an entertainment. It's comedy, but it's not comedy. It's outdated comedy / entertainment that's trying to keep up with the times by sort of copying the Family Guy thing, where Family Guy will start off with one storyline, like a beginner story, and then it opens up to a completely different storyline, which goes over the entire episode, kind of.
I don't
Where
think that's great writing.
Simpsons does that, where, for example, they go to a shopping centre at the start, and then they find a mall, and they find something, and then that becomes the entire episode.
Yeah, I think that's bad writing on Family Guy's part.
yeah.
Just because it's not coherent with the actual main storyline. It's just there as a little skit of some sort.
Yeah, you were saying about it's been running for about 10 years or so. Another franchise that's about 10 years old now. In fact, it is celebrating its 10-year anniversary is the God of War series. God of War 3 remastered to the next-gen consoles.
Have either of you played God of War?
I've completed God of War 3.
I feel like an
Apart from that,
absolute wanker for not playing the games, but they do look awesome.
I haven't played the old ones, but I have played 3 on the PS3, and
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I have played
Because-
Mortal Kombat, which the Mortal Kombat 9 technically, even though it's not.
Yeah,
And Kratos is in it, so
yeah, he's a DLC character.
no, he's not. No, he's not. He's exclusive to the PS3.
Right.
You're thinking of Freddy, who is a downloadable character.
No, I was thinking of Kratos, I just didn't expect him to be an exclusive character.
It's how you and Oliver are able to play with him sometimes.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat X, we were speaking about Freddy vs. Jason earlier with the crossovers. Obviously, Freddy was in the last Mortal Kombat, and in Mortal Kombat X, they're actually introducing 2 characters we've already spoken about, being Jason and Predator.
Yeah.
Jason appears up, we see a couple of characters that I didn't recognise, and then obviously Predator decloaks in the middle of the screen. And I don't know how they would really put the stealth into the game.
There's a lot of stealth characters. Reptile does that. He cloaks.
Yeah, he cloaks, but he doesn't really cloak.
Well, he does the similar cloak to Predator, in which you can see the what's it called? The sort of mirage?
It's
Yeah,
where the light is bending round him, so there is a shape there. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't really know how they would use that to their advantage, though, in the game.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of distracting at times. In
Yeah,
the old
I'm not
Mortal Kombat
sure.
games, they weren't even there.
Yeah,
They
I'm
were
not
just
sure how they
gone.
could actually implement it so that you could use it to win, because the other player will know where you are. Otherwise, you'll be playing as Predator, and if he's completely invisible, if you're playing as him, you won't know where he is either.
On the subject of video gaming, what are your guys' happiest gaming memories?
Happiest gaming memory. The one time I beat my brother on Street Fighter 2. He was Ryu and I was Ken. Wow.
The ultimate poster boy fight.
Ryu.
Yes.
Ryu and Ken. I don't think Scorpion and Sub-Zero beat that duo.
Oh, I think they just about rival
They
it.
do but then the thing with Mortal Kombat is there's favoritism. You're either one of those people that liked Sub-Zero or you're Scorpion. And in the new trailer, Sub-Zero gets his ass handed to him, which disappointed a lot of people, including myself, because I know a lot of Sub-Zero's moves.
He holds his own to a point, and then Scorpion inevitably wins.
Whereas Ryu and Ken, they can get back up after they lost.
That's true.
So it doesn't feel like
they're
they
supposed
lost.
to be trying to refresh the series. I think they should have made Sub-Zero win. Like they're changing it up. They're making it different this time. But
Because almost every time Scorpion always wins. He always wins in any trailer.
I thought they were going to be changing up and making Sub-Zero win this time. They are bringing back brutalities, though. And they're also introducing a new tality called, I think it's Quitality or something, where if a player quits out, their character's head automatically explodes, or something like that along those lines. So you don't...
Rage quitting is...
so you don't really get punished for rage quitting, but the opponent at least gets to see you die.
Which is bitterly disappointing to see yourself get.
I wish it would
killed.
just be your player is the player you're fighting is left. Press X to do quitality, and you then press a button and he goes up to the character and does a bunch of shit to him, and then a special finishing move just for those that quit.
Yeah, it's obvious that one of Predator's moves is going to be where he digs his claws into the back and rips out the skull and spine.
Oh, yes. I imagine him doing that to Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage still having a smile and his glasses on.
Oh yeah, he will.
In the new game, he doesn't have his glasses, but he looks 20 years older. And I think the story of the new game is
It's moved on, which is why a load of the characters are dead.
that Johnny Cage had a child with Sonya Blade, which no one saw that coming because they absolutely despise each other in the last game. They split up, but they have a child called Cassie Cage, and she's equally badass. She has an X-ray in the trailer where she shoots both eyeballs.
My favourite gaming moment, beating my brother in Street Fighter 2 on the SNES with Ken, and he was playing as Ryu, and then he was so surprised by that he then beat me so badly that I didn't even touch him. And I've never beaten him ever apart from that one time, and I think that was my happiest gaming moment, beating him that one time.
Oliver, what was yours?
This might sound really, really sad, but I think the majority of the game was completed by my brother. But when he was away one time, I wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 1, and I managed to complete the last part of the story. He came back home, and he just flipped the fuck out. And
You played this game.
He stepped on the game and swore never to play it because it was quite a long game, from what I remember. Like, there's a lot of
Oh no.
there's a lot of chapters.
You fucked him up.
Yeah, I did. And
But
I ended up when the I think it was the first Metal Gear Solid that came out on PS2. I don't keep track on these things, but it was yeah. But I ended up watching him play the entire game. I was that one guy who just watched it.
Yeah.
Watched him play it.
Yeah, I watched my brother play through quite a few games in my time.
That was
League of
before
Legends
Let's
Zelda.
Plays were cool.
As I am the oldest in my group, I never had that. So
Oldest?
where you two have both got older brothers, so you had them, and you wouldn't play. You'd watch them play. I kind of had that with my dad, but when it came to gaming, I had to teach myself a lot of things.
I think that was the thing, because my brother used to dominate the console all the time.
Yeah.
It's like that when you're at family time and you're watching the TV. There's always your mum or your brother that, hogs the TV remote, and you're like, you have no chance of watching your favourite.
The only thing is, my brother had amazing taste in TV. He loved Pokemon and he loved Dragon Ball Z, and I also love both of those shows. What's your favourite gaming moment, Bradley?
It's got to be being allowed to play a game that I watched my dad play a lot, but was never allowed to play. It is my favourite real-time strategy game of all time, and I'll stand by it till the end of time. Playing Command and Conquer for the first time on the PlayStation 1.
Obviously, like Street Fighter and Sonic were some of the first games I ever played. My mum got a PC from my uncle for work and things like that, and we were allowed to play on it occasionally. And there was this Star Wars game where you actually played as the droids, and that was a fun little game. But we played games like Turok, and like all little Star Wars games on the PC. But my favourite of all of the PC games I got to play was probably Populous by Peter Molyneux.
Really?
Yeah, and also Peter Molyneux made Black and White.
There's quite a lot of controversy over Populous. No, Goddess, that's it.
Goddess, his new game that he's been creating for about 2 years that he said would take 9 months. And everyone's mad at him because they say he lies about everything, but...
Well, he did lie because...
He doesn't lie because he genuinely expects these things to happen, and then they don't, and then everyone gets mad.
Well, then there's the massive consequence of they made a game where the winner, it was an unknown winning, and Peter Molyneux made the game.
Yeah.
And the winner, it was made that he would be the god in Goddess, and he would... For the rest of when the game was released, he'd have a certain percentage of the income from that game.
I didn't have much to say in this one, but I'm glad that I was on hand to record this episode. I'm glad that I'm providing